During World War II, US soldiers commonly carried gas masks into battle. Even though US soldiers were never on the receiving end of any chemical weapon attacks during World War II, that was a serious fear among Allied leaders, and gas masks were an important piece of kit for US soldiers throughout World War II. There were a number of different types of gas masks used during the war, from the iconic kidney gas mask bag used early in the war, to the rubberized assault gas mask bag used on D-Day by first wave assault troops, to the lightweight gas mask bag that was used by later waves on D-Day and other troops throughout the end of World War II. For a while now, I've been looking for an excuse to assemble a full World War II gas mask kit, because when World War II soldiers were issued gas masks, they weren't just given the bag itself with the mask in it, they were also given a number of accessories and other items that could be used during a chemical weapon attack. Now, there were times when soldiers were issued gas masks and they simply threw away the contents and didn't carry their gas mask. Like I mentioned, chemical weapons weren't used against US troops during the war, so they didn't end up needing those gas masks. I've covered that previously in videos, but sometimes people take that overboard and go a bit too far, saying that all soldiers during World War II were ditching their gas mask and nobody was carrying their gas masks. They were just carrying K-rations or whatever in those bags. Thankfully, this isn't some kind of mystery for people like me today who want to know what these soldiers were carrying in those bags during World War II, because often in World War II footage, you can tell whether a soldier has the full gas mask and contents in their bag, or whether they likely ditched that stuff and filled the bag with something else. For example, in this photo, I think this soldier is clearly carrying a gas mask inside of his gas mask bag. You can see some kind of rectangular objects in the front of the bag. Those are the protective covers you'll see later in this video. They have a very distinctive appearance. And compare that to this photo where you can see this soldier's bag doesn't have nearly as much stuff inside and doesn't have that kind of rectangular appearance. So this soldier likely ditched his gas mask and the other accessories so he could use the bag for other purposes. Another huge tell is that he's the only one in this group carrying a gas mask bag. When you see a group of soldiers and only one or two of them have the gas mask bag, that likely means that some of the soldiers ditched the bag along with the mask, and some of them just ditched the mask and held on to the bag. So, since so many other people are representing the soldiers who ditched their gas mask, it would be a good idea for me to represent a soldier who hung on to his. And it makes sense, I'm kind of a cautious guy, so maybe if I were fighting in World War II, I would have been one of the guys who held on to my gas mask just in case. The gas mask that I purchased just got delivered, so I'm excited to open it up and see what it looks like. I did find out from the seller right before they sent it to me that there's a problem with the hose. It sounds like that's dry rotted, so I want to open this up, see what's included in this set that I purchased, and then hopefully we can order the other items to complete the set and maybe replace any parts that need replaced. And hopefully by the end of this video, I'll have a complete late war lightweight gas mask set, just as it would have been issued to a US soldier towards the end of World War II. Let me just grab my letter opener here and we can open up this gas mask and see what it looks like. Now I can already see, unfortunately, this is the later style of gas mask bag that has a removable shoulder strap. The earlier version, you couldn't open the strap up like this. It was permanently sewn on. I do have an earlier bag that's in the lighter OD3 color, so this is not the end of the world. I couldn't tell from the pictures if this gas mask bag was the earlier or later type. All right, hold up. I'm gonna interrupt for a second right here. It's true this is the later version of the gas mask bag, but I had been under the impression that this type of bag came around so late in World War II that they weren't very common and didn't see much use. I am totally rethinking that now though, because I did a quick look through some footage and photos and found a few good examples where you can clearly see that soldiers are using this exact type of gas mask bag late in World War II. Now again, I did want the slightly earlier version, and this bag did come around later in the war, but I'm assembling a late war gas mask set here, so this really isn't as big of a setback as I thought it was. Just wanted to throw that in there. It does seem like this one has the waist strap intact, which is something that is missing from my other gas mask bag. Sometimes troops cut these off, they kind of got in the way, but I'm glad that this one still has the waist strap intact. Let's see what the mask looks like. Ooh. Not a great start. Looks like a broken hose. We have the canister here with the rest of the hose attached. This is a cap for the canister with a tag on it. Pretty neat that that was included with this. I didn't see that in the photo either. And then I can see here we have a protective cover. That's awesome. I didn't know that was included. I do have a few more of these. I think I have 2 early and 2 late protective covers. This is the later version. It's dated 1944. If you're not familiar with protective covers, these were basically like a plastic trash bag compacted into a little rectangle so that soldiers could unfurl them and use them to cover their body in the case of a chemical weapon attack. And then also inside of the gas mask is the anti-dim cloth. This was something you would use to rub on the eyepieces of the gas mask to keep it from fogging up while you were wearing it. Well, it looks like we kind of have our work cut out for us. I'm glad this included the anti-dim cloth. That's good. But the mask is in worse shape than I thought. I didn't know that it was ripped above the eye here and all over. Oh, geez. Yeah, that's not ideal. That's not what I had in mind. But you know what? We can make do. I think I'll have to replace this whole mask at some point. It's interesting. These M4 gas masks were the later version, but this one here is dated 1941. And that's because these were made using existing face masks. So they kind of repurposed them later in the war to make these M4 gas masks. So that's why you see the face masks for M4s are often dated 1941 or 42, even though these weren't masks that were used until 1944 or 45. Okay, so I think our next step here is to look at the full list of gas mask bag contents and see what we're still missing and what we need to order. Well, that's kind of a bummer that the mask is in such shape. I didn't know that. It is what it is though. I pulled up a list of all the contents here. So we need the bag itself, the gas mask bag, we have that. The mask and canister, now that's obviously something I'll need to replace in the future. I didn't realize this one was quite as deteriorated as it is, but we'll say for now we can check that off the list. This will at least act as a stand-in for reenactments and such until I can get a mask in better shape. An anti-dim cloth, that's that cloth we just looked at, so we can check that off the list. 4 M1 protective eye shields. Those were just little plastic-like protective shields that you could put over your eyes. Some troops ended up using them as dust goggles and such, but they were intended for chemical weapon prevention, and they were issued in gas mask bags. I said they were plastic-like. They do feel like plastic, but if I recall, they might be made from some kind of cellulose material. I need 1 protective ointment and ball, M5. So that's a container that has protective ointment and ball cream, which is eye cream to protect against lucite gas. Ball stands for British anti-lucite, I believe. Interesting piece of equipment. I'll have to see if I can find somebody selling that. I need 2 protective covers. 1 came in the set and I actually have 2 already, so we're set on those. I need 2 sleeves vesicant detector. So those are the gas brassards, we call them sometimes. It's a little paper sleeve that was treated with a paint that would change color when it was exposed to chemical weapons. So I already have a few reproductions of those. I don't need any more. I'm set on 2 of those. And the final thing is 1 gas instruction card. That was just a simple card giving soldiers instructions on what to do in the case of a chemical weapon attack. Why don't we start by looking for these protective eye shields. And as usual, I'll start my search on eBay. I think some people now are making reproductions of these, but I'd prefer to find originals if I can. Nice, it looks like I found a listing here. It's a full set of 4 eye shields with the exterior wrapper. It looks like they're dated 1944. They're listed for $25, but there's a make offer option. Always make an offer if there's a make an offer option. So I'm going to offer $20, which I feel is a pretty fair price for a set of these eye shields, especially because there's $8 shipping on top of that. So let's see if they accept my offer. While we're waiting for that, let's start looking for that ointment container. See if there's any of those on eBay. This one here appears to be in pretty nice condition. It's listed for $12.95 or best offer. So of course I'm gonna make an offer. I'll offer $10. It looks like my 2 eBay offers were both already accepted. So that just goes to show it's always worth it to try the make an offer option. So that covers everything. Now we just have to wait for it to come in. All right, the first eBay package just came in. I believe it is the M5 ointment container. So let me just grab my letter opener here. And here we are. This is an interesting little case. It's got this locking piece at the bottom that we can use to pop the top open. This case is in pretty nice shape. It's got a little bit of surface rust, which is to be expected for something of this age, but the text on it is all still legible and it still opens and shuts properly. So I'm happy with this. I think I got a good deal on this item. I just got another eBay package. This one must be those eye shields that I ordered. So let's open those up and see how they are. I also have my gas card here. This was the little instructional card that tells you how to care for your gas mask, how to use it, and how to identify different types of dangerous gas. I was thinking about buying one of these from a reproduction company, but I actually found a printable file online, so I ended up downloading that, formatting it, and then I had it printed at a local print shop since I don't have a color printer, and I figured the quality would be a little better. So yeah, gas card is checked off the list. Now all I need are my eye shields. Let me just grab my letter opener here. There we go. These are dated 11/44, so November 1944. You can see the original sleeve here. And then it also has instructions on the back in case of a chemical spray attack. Let's pull the actual shields out. So you can see they're wrapped in paper, and I will leave them like this, but I will first open them up so I can show you guys what they look like. So there we go. This is our first clear shield. Then we have another clear shield and 2 tinted shields. These come flat, and then the way they work is you simply unhook them, fold them out, and then there are snaps here that you can snap, and that kind of gives them a contoured shape there to mold to your face. And I'll put this one on just so you guys can see what it looks like. There you go. These were very commonly used as dust goggles. The tinted ones were also often worn as sunglasses. You see these pop up in a ton of original photos. There's even a famous picture of Erwin Rommel wearing, I think it's a British version of the protective eye shield that's almost identical to these American ones. Well, there you have it. Now we have every component of our gas mask set, so let's put the whole kit together. I have my gas mask carrier here. It already has that anti-dim cloth tucked into the little loop in here snugly. So next we can install the gas mask canister, which again should be attached to the gas mask. It has this little string attached. The string has an instructional card. This original card is broken in half, but this tag has instructions to waterproof the gas mask, and it says to cover the filter with this rubber gasket and to use this metal clamp on the hose to keep water from entering the filter from that end. There are 2 loops inside the carrier that wrap around the gas mask canister here to hold it in place. That was a very tight fit, but I got that first retaining loop on there. Let's do the second one here. Okay, now our canister is installed. I'll put the mask in there as well. Again, the mask should be connected, but it is not here. The mask will just sit in there facing upwards. Next, I'll insert 2 protective covers inside of the front pockets here. 1 protective cover down, 1 to go. Why is this pocket so much smaller than the one next to it? Piece of cake. Went in there smooth as butter, no problems at all. Next, we'll do our M5 protective ointment and ball ointment. That just goes in this little side pouch here. Hopefully this one isn't as much of a struggle. Okay, all good there. I'll tuck my gas card into that same compartment. Then I have my eye shields and my 2 gas brassards. Those I'll just fold, put in with my eye shield, and tuck them in next to my mask. And now for the hard part, let's see if we can actually button this thing. And there you have it, my complete lightweight gas mask set. Now, obviously, I had hoped to end this video with a better setup. My gas mask is in 2 pieces and the face mask is disintegrating. But there you have it. Hopefully this helped demonstrate what a soldier would have carried in their gas mask bag, and I hope it was enjoyable to see me kind of assemble the components and get my bag looking as it would have during World War II, minus those few things that I pointed out. If you guys are interested in more information on World War II gas mask sets like this, the 100th Infantry Division Reenacted Facebook page has some great articles on this. Their write-ups were super helpful while I was putting together my gas mask set, and they also have all kinds of great photos and diagrams and stuff, some of which I showed in this video, but they have way more than that in the full article. So if you want to check that out, I'll leave a link in the description. Other than that, guys, thank you all so much for watching. Remember, you're watching this video on my second channel called More War Wisdom. I post a lot of my projects and other fun little tidbits on here that don't make it to the main channel. So go ahead and check right now and make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out on those videos. But with that said, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.